Hello, I am Sean Koloff, Senior Research Analyst at AAPA, and this is the AAPA Digital Salary Report, which can be found year-round at aapa.org. Whether you are a PA negotiating a contract, a student or employer curious about compensation, or anyone else interested in the PA profession, the teams here at AAPA have developed this resource to provide you with critical compensation and benefits data as soon as they become available. If you have used this tool in the past, you might notice that we have included a few new features to give you additional insights into PA compensation. But let's start our tour here at the landing page. By using the navigation ribbon on the left-hand side of the page, you're able to select various different features within the digital salary report. For example, you can select data tables to view our robust information on PA benefits and compensation. If you select the Customized Compensation Tables option, you'll be presented with the national base salary compensation data. However, you can select Refine Results to customize the data based on your specific situation. Under Refine Results, AAPA members are able to select various different data years that they would like to see data from. But anyone with access to the digital salary report can decide what compensation type they would like to see, what location they would like compensation for, the various setting that they would like to see the compensation for. They can pick a specialty, and even different bands of years of experience data. If you would like to compare the cost of living between a couple of areas, the easiest way to do that would be to apply the cost of living compensation adjustment. However, keep in mind, you can only use this option on base salary or hourly wage. You can also select bonus if you would like to include data about bonuses that PAs earned over the data year. Once you have everything selected, feel free to click Submit. And you'll be presented with a table based on what you chose to select. However, if you would like, you can also compare data between multiple different data points and display that as well. Now, you might also want to be able to see this information in a different way. Well, one of the new features of this year's digital salary report is the line graph function. If you select this line graph button, it'll display the national level compensation for the compensation type you selected. If you didn't select anything, it'll display salary by default. You can hover over the individual data points to see what they would be inside of the table of the digital salary report. Let's say you'd like to see what compensation is like for a state in comparison to the national line. You can do that by using this Select State option, and then your state will be displayed. An important thing to note, if you've already selected a state within the Refine Results section, you can then see that state within the graph. And you can even choose to add a third state to look at those differences. So you'll have the national line, a state line, and finally, the second state that you selected. Now, many of the tables within the PDF of the salary report, previously broken out by specialty, work setting, location, and years of experience, are also available within the digital salary report. For example, perhaps you'd like to know the earnings and hours worked for PAs working full-time and part-time. You can see the national level data by just selecting the table from the sidebar. However, inside the DSR, you can also select a specific state that you would like this information for. In this case, California, we can see the part-time and full-time data for PAs working in that state. If you would like additional information about any of the tables, feel free to select the data notes within the digital salary report, and it'll provide you with a brief synopsis of all of the data points within that table. If you need additional information, you can also feel free to check out our frequently asked questions page. If you go there, you can see a series of questions that we often get organized inside of these little boxes. And if you click that little ribbon, it'll display the answer to the question. Additional information can also be found in the About section. If you go to the How to Use the AAPA Digital Salary Report screen, and if you would like additional information about the methods used to collect the data that is included within the Digital Salary Report, feel free to click that Methods button. If you couldn't find an answer for any of your questions in those sections, don't hesitate to email us at research@aapa.org. Thank you for using this critically important tool for PA compensation. We appreciate any feedback that you have as we continue to improve this service. If you would like to send us feedback while you're using the Digital Salary Report, feel free to click the Submit Feedback button, where you'll be presented a form. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to us directly at research@aapa.org.